Hello, this is Mark Stevens with the New Jersey Institute of Theological Studies, and tonight we're going to be doing a short lesson on the last days. I want to talk a little bit about four of the signs that we're living in the last days and four things we can expect in the last days. One of the things that we find is in 2 Peter chapter 2, verses 1 through 3. It says that, "But there were also false prophets among the people, even as there will be false teachers among you, who will secretly bring in destructive heresies, even denying the Lord who bought them, and bring on themselves swift destruction. And many will follow their destructive ways, because of whom the way of truth will be blasphemed. By covetousness they will exploit you with deceptive words. For a long time their judgment has not been idle, and their destruction does not slumber." And so we can see evidence of this today, and we've seen it for the last few years, how basically the truth of the gospel has been replaced with the love of money. Jesus said something very important to his disciples before he went to the cross. He said, you can't serve two masters. You can't serve mammon and you can't serve God at the same time. And of course, mammon is money. And we see a lot of this today, especially in ministry, churches. We used to just pick on the TV preachers, but the regular churches are almost as bad, where money has become the sole emphasis of the church, raising of money, raising funds. We have the audacity to call fundraisers revivals, and they're not revivals, they're fundraisers. No souls are being saved, money is being raised. And I'll never forget one time I went to a revival, and this preacher got up and said that there were 30 people in the church that had $100. And I'm sitting up in the pulpit, and I counted about 18 people. So I don't know where he got the other people from, but it's just this kind of nonsense that's going on in the church for years. But now it's gotten to the point where it's just common. And because of that heresy in the church, a lot of people just avoid coming to church. And we wonder why our regular churches are dying, and that has a lot to do with it. We've taken the focus off of Jesus and put the focus on money. Jesus said, "If I be lifted up, I'll draw all men unto me." Well, if you're not lifting up Jesus, nobody's going to get drawn. So, number one, the false teachers will be hungry for money. And that's the number one sign of the last days and the signs of the times. Number two, mankind will be capable of destroying all life. And ever since Hiroshima and Nagasaki, we've seen the utter capabilities, destructive capabilities of mankind. Matthew 24:21 through 22 says, "For then there will be great tribulation, such as has not been since the beginning of the world until this time, no, nor ever shall be. And unless those days were shortened, no flesh would be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days will be shortened." So consider when Jesus made this prediction. This is during the time of swords and spears. And we know that during the days of swords and spears, you couldn't render that kind of utter destruction. But now you can just push a button and destroy whole cities. So we see that today. There's also biological warfare and chemical weapons that can wipe out the planet as well. The capability to destroy the planet is, here. It's now. It's not something that we are looking to in the future, but it's something that a reality that we're living in right now. Also, number three is the use of nuclear weapons anticipated. Look at Zechariah 14:12. It says, "And this shall be the plague with which the Lord will strike all the people who fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall dissolve while they stand on their feet. Their eyes shall dissolve in their sockets, and their tongues shall dissolve in their mouths." Well, that sounds like a neutron bomb. Neutron bombs do very little physical damage to the structures around it, but it destroys all of the flesh and all the humanity and all the animals in the vicinity of the neutron bomb as it dissolves. And Zechariah predicted this 2,500 years ago. And that was unimaginable in Zechariah's day, but it's imaginable now. And the last thing is in the last days, there's going to be a cry for global peace. And I really believe that's when we see the Antichrist come on the scene, because initially the Antichrist is going to be seen as a peacemaker. 1 Thessalonians 5:3 says, "For when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes upon them, as labor pains upon a pregnant woman, and they shall not escape. And so we see right now, there is a cry for peace. We've been in wars ever since I can remember. I'm 57 years old, and ever since I was a child, there's always been wars. And I served in the military and have been a part of wars myself and conflicts. It's not going to get any better. But when the Antichrist comes on the scene, there's going to be a period of peace and safety. And that's what's going to cause people to follow the Antichrist, because he brings on this advent of good times. But it's only temporary. It's only temporary. So we're going to come back again later, but this is just a short lesson on the last days. Going to be doing a series of 4 lessons on the last days. And I hope this has been a blessing to you. God bless you.